ويخ ما عرف شوي اريا كروسك.
Artini Shunle, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Walk the Crossroads. I want to apologize if it sounds a little airy and there's some background noise. The microphone I was using earlier was a little strange. Anyway, this is the most recent episode I am recording from here in Paris as part of my finale 2016 tour as I head home to the United States. Tonight we'll be covering the first part of the Chevalier technology of Avalon. Now, as we've been discussing the Mecha of Avalon for the past few episodes, these are the most prevalent ones. Now, to specify this, we fight and die for our houses. The blood of errants fuels the sovereign game. So says Eric Zu-Riwodan, errant of House Tyr. There are few in the Avalon Cluster who know the name Chevalier, and not think of lacquered metal knights locked in eternal combat. Once developed for war against the kindreds of the Guagara, the Dark Years were perhaps the worst, and if not for the work of the Excalibur Station, the earlier models of Chevalier would have not been created. From that experience, the Chevalier steadily went from machine of war to one of ritual. Soon the Ern class arose from the side-bound warriors across the Triad. The Rights Guild was established to build the great machines as the Marcher houses pushed for increased resources to defend the line against the northern raids of the Voidkin. Soon the control of Chevaliers became paramount among the houses. The sovereign lords are able to field the greatest contingents of Mecha to be fielded in battle. Great houses can only afford maybe 50 to 100 Chevaliers at a time, with minor houses only controlling a handful. These odds have forced the errants and nobles to value each other and every one as basically an incredibly important resource. Chevaliers are hard to produce. They're produced in mass selectively by artisans led by master rights. These artisans then focus on the development of a single mecha over time. So kind of to give you an idea, this includes the design of the exterior decorations and the naming of the machine. Now, most Chevaliers can take well over a year to develop, and customized versions known as Matre Chaval, High Avalonic for Masterwork. So just remind people, my French pronunciation is atrocious. It's really Met Traval or something like that. Traval. And because they're the highest pinnacles of design for the Chevalier, and for this reason, master rights who can produce them are often highly paid a commission by their patron houses. Production of Chevaliers is often conducted in specialized locations which are heavily defended. Those seeking to increase their power and prestige often target these facilities, often called Night Havens. The most Night Havens are filled with active Chevalier and Carapace armored guards. So, kind of get this, they are mass produced, there are specific models, and some families even become known as right houses because they're known for producing certain models. Much like the models that are produced by the Artificers Guild, the Rights Guild does not like innovation in design. They like to keep things the same. And this is where customization really becomes paramount, mostly because there's a severe plateau right now in the technology of Chevaliers. There's some recent advancements, but at the same time, those are heavily controlled by the Rights Guild. We're talking about a group of people that rely heavily on the ability to control what goes in and what is used in these machines. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the terminology that is used. So to explain this, the evolution of the Chevalier mecha and knightly mythos attached to it has spawned a unique series of vocabulary unique to the weapon's use. Many terms, such as Mata Travel, are named in High Avalonic, the ancient language of the Valrian, which was once adopted by the Archer Court as language of politics. Others are an elder tongue to reflect the scholarly terminology applied to various aspects of the bond between errant and squire. Finally, there is the common speech, Low Avalonic, used for technical terms such as heart-searing, which applies to the overusage of the entente and détente system of binding the souls of the two pilots. Collectively, this jargon is called knight speech and is commonly used among errants, squires, and rights. Battle formation organization terminology is often derived from Armika, the language of the Arcanes people of Arives and Esfada. So to give you guys some examples of knight speech. So Ascendant is a Chevalier or Chevalier that over time has gained sentience as pilots die and their minds are imprinted upon the soul core of the Mecha. Errant rank. When in combat, they often refer to each other, such as the leader of a Pendek which is a group of Chevaliers, are known as errant commanders. They might be known as sub-errant commanders in combat. A deck is a company of 10 Chevaliers, normal complement for carriers. Decks are the normal guardian formation for fleet formations and for large military outposts. The Azan Ame, a Romanized concept of the soul bond between squire and knight. The Liazem, or Accord de l'Âme, is considered one of the most sacred connections an errant can hold. Some Liazem stand above marriage and even family with how tightly an errant and squire may be. Now, again, guys, I'm apologizing. My French pronunciation is atrocious. Even here in Paris, I'm fudging it, and I'm trying my best here. Eternal. An errant who has been chosen or pilots a recently awakened Ascendant Chevalier. So basically, anyone who is piloting Ascendant or is coming to pilot an awakened Ascendant is known as an Eternal. Okay, it's a connection to the supposed many lifetimes that exist within the Chevalier. Heartseer, to overload and push the NNS connection created during the Entente and Détente bond in the soul core. Murtak Vaison, the knight's honor, or the honor of the knight, a sense of regard that is held between all errants for each other. This is commonly held to be the respect for skills in combat and a respect for oneself dying in battle for their lord. The Matra Travail, we've already covered it, that's the masterwork. Pent, short for pentad, a common sortie formation of 2 heavy mecha and 3 mecha with a third being of either classifications. 3 pents are known as a pendek. A pendek can also be created from a group of 5 tria. So again, tria is a 3-pronged formation of Chevalier. A pendek is a group of 15. Tourney, the challenge, duel, or tournament conducted between 2 or more errants for the prize of earning the desired Chevalier or Chevalier. If the duel of the loser forfeits their Chevalier, in the large-scale tournament, 1 Chevalier or more are up for grabs by the winner. This is a way of effectively challenging each other. If one house is small but is renowned for a powerful Chevalier, an errant might challenge another so that they may bring that back to their house as a means of, war prize, Vanguard. The van or vanguard of a major formation is the veteran Chevaliers who are often led by the primary leading errant commanders. Any formation that is under the direct command of an errant commander is always termed as the errant's van, as a means to signify it from the others. Okay, so that's our basic knight speech. Let's talk a little bit more about the Chevaliers of Avalon. Mecha who fall under the name of Chevalier are created uniquely from other mecha formats. Few even consider the major differences between the various forms of mecha, but if one stands out the most, it is the Chevalier. The bone-armored monstrosities dubbed the Jotun are incapable of bearing a soul, and few know about the inner workings of the feather cloak Waka. The very notion that a machine could create its own life is perhaps one reason with the Eternal and the knowledge of how unique the Chevalier truly work as a machine artistry. Chevaliers are some of the most respected fighting machines in the Avalon Cluster. Stories of the grand armored fighting knights of the Triad carry weight in the depths of the southern reaches, to the rumored lands of the fallen star. Most designs of Chevalier come with 2 designated model classifications, light and heavy, with both serving as primary strategical and kitted designs for combat across the Triad. Heavy class Chevaliers are often known as hard shields, shock knights, or in other cases simply as heavies. They are mostly armored and armed to act as primary fits in attacking enemy lines. Their heavy, expansive armament and defense is used in protracted battles to strengthen lines and to deal with frontal assaults from the enemy. Heavily Chevaliers are not known for their speed, and instead focus most of their design on targeting and redundancies. They are less likely to fall apart in combat and are considered the most rugged machines developed by the right skilled. The light or strike class Chevaliers are often reinforced for their fast travel and for light weaponry. If heavily armored, they often are used for lightning engagements and are thus focused upon speed rather than durability. For this reason, they are often nicknamed swords, spears, or in some case, speed demons. Their light frames are designed for precision and quick strikes to conduct the most damage against the enemy. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the Eternal and the Ascendant and close up for the Knight. The soul core that bonds the errant and squire of a Chevalier creates a mental and spiritual connection between the two. When a pilot dies, a bit of themselves is lost within the core, and the internal computer cores of the machine themselves become even bound tighter. There is no term for what it means for consciousness to be born, but it happens. When 3 pilots have perished, a mecha becomes eternal, and their new pilot becomes ascendance. Now, to quickly note this is actually a little wrong. It's supposed to say the mecha becomes ascendant and the pilots become known as eternal. It's an example of the wiki needing to get cleaned up. By the time you guys read the wiki, I would have fixed it. Okay. Anyway. Where were we? Becomes eternal. Eternal are said to gain a unique personality. They may contain memory and tactics that give them an edge in battle. This is seen as a supernatural effect and only a slight degree of edge, but still an edge nonetheless. The rule of this personality traits is based upon the pilots who perished in the Chevalier before it. Those who are skilled in certain weapons will impart said skills upon the machine. Those who are violent will birth a violent personality. These traits then slowly add to that of the errant and squire. Those are said to become more violent, their Chevalier is violent or solemn. The eternal are thus revered and abhorred at the same time. The skills gifted by the eternal are additions and not complete enhancements. They allow a mecha pilot to fire a few seconds faster, to reload more strategically, and when to adjust their flying thrusters. They are not total means of winning a battle, but they are gifts the eternal of fearsome reputation for being able to defeat less weathered Chevaliers in war. Now, thank you, everyone. I want to thank everybody listening for the last few years. We are coming up again on over 2 years of doing this. This is crazy. Almost 2 years, actually. And I want to let you all know that next time we'll be covering a few models of the Chevalier of Avalon. Thank you again, and have a good night. And as the Amazons say, Vehen Shush. Spirits to you.